Hello and welcome. My name is Spacemuffin, and this is The Void Gaming. So today we're going to be talking about Harry Potter Quidditch Champions. The game has been out for about a week now, and I want to give you guys my honest thoughts and opinions. And I wanted to get this video out a little bit earlier, but I really wanted to take some time with the game, just to really give you guys like an honest, just thoughts and opinions. You could call it a review, I guess. Before we get started, though, it would be greatly appreciated if you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Visit thevoid.gg if you want to join our Discord server, and let's get right into it. So Harry Potter Quidditch Champions is kind of about what I expected it to be. Kind of just a fun, little sports game, set in the Harry Potter universe. But there are some really interesting things that did kind of take me by surprise. So one of the things that I really kind of appreciate in this game is the diversity between each role, if that makes any sense. So as the keeper, you're gonna have different mechanics and different ways of interacting with the game. So for example, you kind of obviously you're kind of like the goalie, obviously, as the keeper. And you can kick the ball. There's certain defensive elements that you have, and that's really cool. As the chaser is exactly what it sounds like, just like in the movies. You're chasing the quaffle around, trying to get the quaffle inside the hoops, and score. And then as the beaters, they have really cool mechanics. Like the bludger mechanic is really fun. Obviously, they can tackle people. Lots of cool mechanics with the beater. The one that, in my opinion, could use a little bit of work is the Seeker role. I think that the Seeker is... it's kind of like how the original game was, how the original Quidditch World Cup was, where you're kind of like, you have to go through these hoops and you build up a meter, and you can eventually chase the snitch around. I just think there needs to be a little bit more depth with that particular role. But kind of going back to certain mechanics as well. So you do get to level up and kind of spend skill points. It's not like a skill tree per se, but it's more like you can kind of invest into obviously certain skills. We kind of touched on this a little bit, but I'm now able to see a more in-depth kind of overview of what the system is. And it's really just linear. It's just you level up one and you level up the other and then you level up the other. And eventually... you max out your character with the different trees. So there's the class-specific tree. So, for example, if you're a chaser, you'll have chaser-specific upgrades. And then there's the team upgrades, which kind of help you with the team dynamic. And then there's, I believe, kind of more of a defensive tree as well. But... so the skill point system is it's relatively shallow, but it does serve its purpose, right? So those people initially getting into the game, you kind of want to take it slowly, and then as you, level up your character and get those skill points, you're going to be able to really have a more fast-paced, more, honed-in experience, if that makes any sense. Now, the other thing that I really like is the broom system. So certain brooms have agility, certain brooms have, speed or whatever, the different stats with the brooms. And, it's similar. You just level up the different brooms. But what I like is the diversity between the brooms. So the clean sweep might not be exactly the same as the firebolt, right? Or the firebolt might not be the same as the nimbus, right? So that's kind of cool. So as of right now, it does not seem that the gear or clothing does affect your characters. These are things that we kind of, have deterred and seen from the trailer. So, but let's talk about, before we get into the gameplay itself, let's talk about customization. To me, I think I would like to see a little bit more. I'd like to see more body shapes. I'd like to see more faces. But, this is kind of the beginnings of a good character creator. I think that, once again, there's a little bit more, or even a lot more to be desired, but I think it's a good start. I do feel like you can create some kind of unique characters. I do feel like you are able to express yourself in a certain way. And obviously, as they add more DLC, add more unlockables, you'll be able to customize your character even more. But that base level customization, I just want to see a little bit more. So I just want to talk about that real quick. So now kind of on to the gameplay itself. A lot of people, like I said, we compare this game to Quidditch World Cup, and I do, in my personal opinion, I actually like the gameplay a little bit better than World Cup. I like the team dynamic a little bit better. Obviously, you know, this game is coming out 20 plus years later, and, you know, and I kind of touched on this in the last video where I actually really like the art style. It's simple, it's easy. It makes it to where people can kind of pick up and play this game regardless of their system requirements. Not saying that, like, you know, you can't play this game on a potato, but it's not going to be as heavily intense on your system. And so this is going to help with, you know, cross-platform play. This is going to help with just having an overall smoother experience. But when you're actually playing the game, it doesn't feel like the graphics don't really feel like they matter because you're moving so quickly. I'm not gonna say the graphics don't matter, but like they matter less. You know, you're more focused on the mechanical elements. I like the fact that the quaffle, you can very easily locate the quaffle on the field. They make that really cool. Movement is really good. They have a drift mechanic that is pretty good. And I would like to see like a dive mechanic. I would like to see a mechanic that lets you very quickly change directions. You know, I know that's kind of what the drift mechanic is for, but I want to see kind of like one where, like, the drift mechanic is horizontal. I want to see a vertical movement situation. So speaking of vertical movement, one of the things that I've noticed is I'm okay with having a barrier, and I kind of touched on this, a concern of mine in the trailer. I'm okay with having a barrier. I'm okay with there being limitations to the arena. That's fine. The problem is it shouldn't feel like a limitation. I shouldn't be bumping into that wall every time I am going, you know, to the edge of the arena. So like that's a little annoying. Same with the top of the arena. I feel like it could be maybe a little bit higher, right? I feel like, you know, it could be higher for sure. But everything's kind of in this bubble, right? Not as bad as I thought it was going to be like in the trailer, but it is a little annoying just kind of bumping into that all the time. The game makes it relatively smooth. It doesn't really hinder the gameplay in the sense that like you're not going to be like penalized as harshly for bumping into the barrier, but it's just kind of annoying when, you know, it just feels like the bubble is a little bit too small. I would like to see just a bigger bubble. That's kind of all I'm saying. But yeah, this game has a lot of potential. You know, I think that the single player, it's basic. This is a $30-$40 game, you know, and so the single player is exactly what I expected it to be. You have like kind of a little bit of a career mode. And I know they're going to be adding, you know, like I said, probably more things here in the future, more potential arenas and things like that. So speaking of additions, they've confirmed that they're going to be doing 6v6 multiplayer. So this is something that I think is a necessity. I think part of this game is really getting that authentic, or trying to get as close to that authentic Quidditch experience as possible. And they've tweaked some things. So like as mentioned, the golden snitch is only worth 30 points. It doesn't end the game. And I think in the future, you know, you should be able to set that. Like you should be able to set like a traditional Quidditch mode where maybe it does end the game, right? So then the beaters and the, you know, seekers really have to like kind of be on point. And then, you know, so like I think you can have a mode like that, or then you can have kind of a, you know, the mode kind of which we have now, right? So there's definitely like, you know, some cool stuff on the horizons with the game. I'm actually really excited to see what this game has in store. The animations are smooth. I love, you know, the broom flying, you know, and the emotes and everything like that. So like me and my buddies were having a blast, as you can see in the gameplay that's been playing throughout this whole time, courtesy of Elijah. Elijah, thank you so much for getting all this gameplay. But I don't know, guys. Like, let me know what you guys think about this game. I think that, you know, this game has a lot of potential. I think this game really has a lot of potential. I'm really happy that there's there's no microtransactions, and I just like the fact that you can pick up and play it. Certain mechanics are a little bit more difficult to master than others, but let me know what you guys think in the comments below. We really appreciate the support, guys. And yeah, once again, hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button, guys. My name is Spacemuffin, and we will see you guys in the next